I had the experience last night going in to hear Evensong at the cathedral in Hereford. And just as the bells finished tolling, got there just in time for the start of the Prebendal Singers, and ran into Anthony Grayling on the way out, who, before I could say to him, "What are you doing here?" said, "Christopher, Hitch, what the hell?" And I said, no, I wouldn't miss it. And I'm glad I was there, by the way, because if it wasn't for me and a couple of old ladies in motorized chariots, the choir, the Prebendal choir, would be singing to an empty nave, which I think would have been a shame. And George Herbert, who I think is probably the greatest, along with John Donne, the greatest English religious writer and poet, was at Hereford. And Lawrence Traherne was at a parish, actually had the living of a parish just down the road. And you wouldn't want to and couldn't possibly be without that tradition. You'd lose a lot of your sense of moral proportion, I think. So the great cultural question to me is not how to reject religion, because that's easy enough to do, but how to transcend it, how to make something out of the extraordinary architecture, poetry, music, and painting that it's produced. I give the example, because it's not an English or a Christian one, or a monotheistic one at all, of the Parthenon, about which I wrote a book. If the Parthenon was to be destroyed, I don't know how one would go on contemplating things. It would be a loss greater than perhaps that of a friend almost, or a relative. And its existence, and indeed its restoration, means a great deal to me, and I've written a lot about it. But I have no interest at all in the cult of Pallas Athena, or the worship of her, or in the Eleusinian mysteries and that cult, or in fact in Athenian imperialism and the Melian expedition, about which Sir Peter knows a lot more than I do. But, so the cultural question is, how does one preserve, appreciate, enhance the symmetry and beauty of the Parthenon, while discarding superstition and the supernatural? And I believe that's a cultural task that everyone has something to contribute.